UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson's government remains unfazed by the backlash surrounding their decision to suspend Parliament. Opposition lawmakers believe that the decision was taken to limit lawmakers' ability to block a no-deal Brexit. But today, the leader of the House of Commons insisted that there would still be enough time to discuss Brexit.
Jacob Rees-Mogg, who said critics of the move were just trying to frustrate the referendum result.
It will be up to the European Union to decide whether it wishes to have a reasonable deal or whether it's going to insist on vassalage, in which case we will leave without a deal.
Earlier today, British Defence Secretary Ben Wallace similarly dismissed the outrage surrounding the government's decision.
Do you support the prorogation of Parliament? It happens every year.
Yesterday, the Queen approved suspending Parliament for a total of 32 days between September the 12th and October the 14th. Britain is a little over 2 months away from leaving the EU, but has yet to secure a deal with Brussels. And for more on this, we are going to go over live now to Ollie Barrett in London. Ollie, there's a petition against Boris Johnson's move. Is it likely to make any difference?
Probably not. It certainly demonstrates the level of public anger on one side of this debate, but to be honest, we've known about the level of public anger and the division that Brexit has caused since the referendum and even before it, when Britons voted to leave the European Union, but by a pretty tight margin. These petitions do mean that they qualify for a debate in Parliament when they get above a certain threshold. This one certainly has done so, but that debate is not going to be binding if and when it happens, and it's unlikely to happen potentially very soon, given the fact that this parliamentary suspension is going to take place. But perhaps it will focus the mind of the government and just be a reminder to Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, about exactly how divisive this debate continues to be and how much anger there continues to be on both sides.
Well, the government insists, though, that there will still be time to debate Brexit in spite of the suspension. Is that likely?
Well, certainly what this does is reduce the time available, but the government is making the point that during the period in which it is suspending Parliament, Parliament was effectively going to be suspended for much of that period anyway, because you have the major party conferences coming up during the September and October period, and so MPs wouldn't have been at Westminster. So the government insists it's only taking actually a handful more days away from the parliamentary timetable. There certainly will be some time in the House of Commons next week for these debates and these efforts to get underway to try and stop what opponents describe as a hard Brexit, a no-deal Brexit. We're also hearing that MPs are potentially going to ask the Speaker of the House of Commons if they can sit through the weekend at one point, which would expand again some of the time available to parliamentarians. This just makes up all of the battle that there now is going to unfold over the next week or so over Brexit, but also about Parliament and how much muscle it has here.
All right, thanks very much for that. Ollie Barrett speaking to us from London.